Hello, 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 family. I hope everybody is doing very well today. So, I wanted to come here and talk to you all about how to get people to see how great you really are. Now, we're going to give people a couple of minutes to just get in here. And as you guys start to trickle in here, I want you to tell me that you're here so I know that I'm not just talking to myself. Because I absolutely will talk to myself because I know somebody will be viewing this in the future. But if you're here, let me know in the comments that you're here so we could kind of spend some time together. I could say hello to you. You can say hello to me. I think I could see new comments display on the screen. I don't know. Still getting used to this stuff, okay? So say hello to me if you are here so we could spend some time together. But today I am going to be showing you step by step. Well, I'm going to show you what I do to get people to see how great I am. Because here's the thing, I believe that in terms of helping coaches and speakers craft, package, and deliver their signature story in a way that authentically and genuinely connects with their audience, there's nobody better in the world. I believe that. Do you believe that you're the best at what you do? Let me know in the comments if you believe that you're the best at what you do. And tell me what you do. I want to know you guys are here. So, in order to get my point across to you tonight, I want to share a story with you of Henry Ford. Does everybody know who Henry Ford is? You know, the Ford motor car. So, back in the early 1900s, nobody had a vehicle. The only people that could afford a car were the super wealthy because there weren't many cars around, and the cars that were around were super, super, super expensive. So only guys like Carnegie and John Rockefeller and all of these guys could afford cars. So Henry Ford came along and he said, well, what if everybody could have a car? What if there could be a vehicle that the average man or woman who's working a regular job could afford? What if not just Rockefeller and Carnegie could be the ones that have vehicles? So Henry Ford decided that he was going to develop the Ford Model T, which was going to become the first affordable vehicle in history. Now there's a problem. He developed a car. He spent years and a lot of money developing it. But the problem was that in order to get his car to the market, he had to go through an organization. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a monopoly. And this monopoly owned the car industry. So in order for a new manufacturer such as Ford to bring their vehicle out to the market and to begin selling their vehicle, they had to get permission from this organization. So why is this relevant? Well, Ford had this dilemma. I have this vehicle that I want to sell because it will be a great opportunity for people in the market to get their hands on a car without having to spend all of their money. But he had to go to this organization to get permission. So he went to the organization, he presented his case, and they said, Mr. Ford, we will get back to you in a few short weeks. A few short weeks go by, he didn't hear anything. One day he gets a letter in the mail. He opens it up, he sits down at his desk, and he just goes, damn it. Because they rejected Ford. And they were not going to allow Henry Ford to sell his vehicle. See, here's the thing. Henry Ford knew how great his vehicle was, but they didn't. So there was a gap. Henry Ford knew how great he was. The people that he had to persuade did not know how great the vehicle was. So how do we close this gap? Because that's ultimately the position that you and I are in. We know how great we are, but our potential clients and customers don't. So how do we close that gap? And what most of us try to do is try to convince people that we are so great. We try to tell people I'm the best at what I do, and we try to show them our testimonials and our case studies and all this stuff. But what if there was a way for you to show people undeniably how great you were rather than just telling them how great you are? And so this is what Henry Ford decided. He said, how can I close this gap? How can I get the world to see that my car is as great as I know it is? One day he challenged the number one race car driver in the world to a race. And he said, my Ford motor car my Model T that has never been used in a race, and I have never been a race driver. He said, despite those two things, I'm going to race you and I'm going to beat you. Sure enough, Henry Ford beat the #1 race car driver in the world. And at that point, it was undeniable that the Ford Model T was a car that was great. No longer did Henry Ford have to rely on telling people how great it was. He let the work show how great it was. That is what we call a dramatic demonstration. A dramatic demonstration. A dramatic demonstration is when you demonstrate your greatness to the point that it's undeniable. So I want you to begin to ask yourself this question. What is the magic trick that I can perform that will demonstrate how great I am in a way that is undeniable? So here's what I do. I get on a call with folks. I offer them a free coaching call. I ask a series of questions. This is my framework. And based off of these series of questions, I pull their story out of them. And then I ask a question. Can I take a crack at it? And they say, what do you mean when you say that? Well, I want to share your story for you as if I were you. And I'm going to sell your product right now. Really? Yeah. And in 10 minutes, I tell their story for them as if I were them. And at the end of it, I ask, what'd you think? At least 90% of the time, one of the first words to come out of the person's mouth is, how did you just do that? I can't even do that. That was amazing. It's undeniable at that point that I'm great at what I do. Now, here's the crazy part. If I could do that with your story in 1 hour, what could you do with your story with your 30 years of knowledge of your story? So I share all of that. Why? That is my magic trick. It's like, boom, I dramatically demonstrate how great I am. How can you do that in your business? Excuse me. I don't know how that is or what that looks like for you, but you have to create some type of magic trick if you really want to make it undeniable that you are great at what you do. So I just wanted to create this short live stream to encourage you to create some type of dramatic demonstration in your business so that when people see what you have, they say, oh, there's no denying that greatness.